6 core claims of globalization.
Hi, this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material.
Globalization has been in the air in terms in politics and economics. It is being projected as a common objective of the whole humankind. But there is someone, a professor, a man of himself, argues that globalization has four main dimensions: economic, political, cultural, and ecological, with ideological aspect of each category. This set of categories relates to the four-domain approach of circle of social life and circles of sustainability. Reason for globalization. There are several key factors which have influenced the process of globalization. Number one, improvements in transportation. Building of roads, canals, and railroads resulted in the expansion of markets, made it easier for people to move around, and change the physical environment. 2. Freedom of trade. A free trade agreement lowers the obstacles to imports exports between nations. Also, removes all or the majority of taxes, subsidies, and prohibition. 3. Improvements of communication. Globalization increased communication and awareness of business opportunities between different nations. Lastly, number 4, labor availability and skills. Globalization affect the labor market in the Philippines by increasing market access, exports, and competition. May promote efficiency and cause certain sectors to gain in terms of increased investment, employment creation, and increased wages. So, without further ado, let's identify 6 core claims of globalization. That is, 6 particular ways in which globalists decontest their master concept, globalization. So, before we proceed to our main topic, let's read the objectives. At the end of the chapter, the students will be able to understand what is meant by the term globalization, recognize the main 6 core claims of globalization, aims to build a fair globalization and strengthen social cohesion, construct a plan for coping with the challenges of globalization, emerging market economies, discuss the pros and cons of the core claims of globalization.
Good day, everyone. I'm Cadet Exomar Pialago. I discuss it's all about globalizations is about the liberalization and global integration of markets. A process known as liberalization involves reducing governmental controls and regulations and economy in exchange for increasing participation from the private sector. What is liberalization? It is refers to the integration of the economy with the world economy through a cross-border flow of threads, technology, idea, manpower, and capital. The easing of government controls, the restriction for the ease of doing business. What is integration? It is refers to the process of increasing the degree of economic and political integration among countries around the world. Market integration occurs when price among different locations or related goods follow similar patterns over a long period of time. Group of goods often move proportionally to each other, and when this relation is very clear among different markets, it is said that the markets are integrated. What is the importance of globalization and liberalization? Liberalization helps in the growth of globalization by relaxing the rules and regulations for performing trade between countries. Furthermore, the trump of markets over governments remains at the center of globalizations by Strigger 2005. Markets are the driving factor behind global order. As an effect, globalization power is overly controlled by taxation, crime prevention, anti-competition policies, and social services, etc. What is taxation in market is a process of collecting money from individuals and businesses by the government to fund public services and programs. Crime prevention refers to the strategies and measures put in place to reduce the occurrence of criminal activities and maintain public safety. And anti-competition policies, also known as antitrust or competition policies, are measures implemented by governments to prevent monopolies, promote fair competitions, and ensure a competitive market environment. Example of globalization is about the liberalization and global integration of markets. First, there's a great participation of private entities. Second, private sector participation occurs when private company or investors engage in a project along with public sector or other entity. And the last, it can allow those people who want to open a business in the free market. Pros of globalization: access to new markets, spread knowledge and technology, enhance global cooperation and tolerance, promotes economic growth. Cons of globalization: increased competition, exploitation of labor and resources, imbalanced trade, domestic job loss.
Globalization is inevitable and globalization is irreversible. Is globalization inevitable? Yes, of now. We are living technology increase. It is inevitable with a modern technology which out of world become easier. So globalization inevitable is with advancement technology of globalization will follow more countries, will connect more countries, will connect more people, will export and import resources. So the globalization irreversible, yes, because of the powerful of innovation trend that has efficient movement of economic growth, increase in the interdependence of national economies. These are the aspects of globalization that are irreversible. Number one, improvement of transportation and communication. Number two, the growth of multiple nationals increasingly specialized with a large output are able to drive. Number three, increase in the interdependence of global production. Number four, world trade. So, therefore, the globalization irreversible since it has provided a great impact of globally that help a lot of people in different countries to travel and communicate with ease and convenience. So, if this aspect of globalization tried to be reversed, many will be affected, especially the trading of goods and services, international and national news, government, education, communication, and business. So, for example, of globalization, reversible is number one, market will help us reach. Number two, due to the growing demand on the all aspect of the globalization market of developing countries.
So one of the example of cultural globalizations, so which is for instance Japanese sushi restaurant are present in New York, India, curry houses in London, and American fast food businesses in Tokyo. Moreover, meals such humans, tacos, and sushi rolls that were once known to be exotic foreign have now become common. So the defendant of first world countries product that can will never destroy of globalization. So that means the irreversible of globalization, which is there has no changes that will be impossible to return to a previous situation in our globalization. So for me, the inevitable globalizations, economic of other countries, of other regions, it defends our globalizations through globalization to acquire an economic development of technology and advancement.
Nobody is in charge of globalization. If market force decide our history path, no social class or group can dominate the globalization agenda. Stiger 2005 globalization shall not include the goal of any particular class or groups. So nobody is in charge of globalization means globalization is inevitable and all countries in the world must prepare themselves. And no one is specifically responsible for this. Globalization is reinforced by existence of various standards that apply internationally. One of the leading standardization bodies, the International Organization for Standardization, has produced many standards related to the management, organization, products, and activities of organization. The issuance of ISO on social responsibility raised the question, will this standard benefit or harm the Philippines? If it is unavoidable, how shall the Philippines prepare itself? What is called when nobody is in charge? It helped all the people to increase their living standards, brought advantages to organization and businesses, and enabled economies to develop. So nobody is in control, or everyone is depending on how you look at it. Sometimes the word anarchy is used to refer to an out-control mood. So when it comes to government, anarchy will be one that we describe the human state of existence before any government develop. So the examples, number one, globalists are not dictating their own agenda to the people. So, and the last one is the reason why there is nobody in charge. Most countries are possessive of their own economy.
Globalization benefits everyone.
Globalization for the economy includes increased choice, higher quality product, increases competition, economies of scale, increased labor mobility, and improved international relations. Convalidates stagnating economies, create opportunities for training, education, expand a company, offering and will new ideas, customer, and transform emerging nation. Religion may become a haven for new technology, finance, investment, and more. Workers learn variable skills and strengthen the economy. Globalization offers many benefits for business. The larger international markets offers massive opportunities, increase client base, and the potential for impressive revenue gains clearly. When a company is slow to adopt globalization, it eventually damages their market share. If company doesn't explore global expansion, another certainly will. Examples: business Steve Jobs, Apple gained wealth by trade to other countries like Libya, South Korea, and etc. Example for globalization benefits: lower cost of products, higher standard of living across the globe, access to new market, access to new talent, and last, international recruiting.
Good day. Globalizations further the spread of democracy in the world. Meaning, democracy, free market, freedom, and free trade are similar according to the globalist belief. Globalist claims is anchored in the neoliberal assertion that free market, capitalism, free trades, synonym terms. For example, acts of voting. We have the freedom to pick our leaders for our country. Human rights, a basic right that everyone needs to respect and follow. Neoliberalism. New liberalism is contemporarily used to refer to market-oriented reforms the policies, such as eliminating price controls, deregulating capital markets, lowering trade barriers, and reducing, especially through privatization and austerity state influence in the economy. Neoliberalism is an idea that the society Neoliberalism is the idea that the society should be shaped by the free market and the economy should be deregulated and privatized, or what works in the private sector will also in the public sector.
Hello everyone, I am the Cadet Brandon and I'm reporting globalization requires war on terror. Terrorism stalls global free trade and economic growth. Globalization that is highly developed and economic downturn has led to increased violence. Meaning, globalization that is highly developed means developed our globalization and led to increase the violence of the country attack. How does globalization contribute to war? Someone said war actually depends on the economic and religious condition of people. If globalization gives more and more money to the owners and less to the workers, more and more for some nations and less relatively to others, the occasions of conflict grow, social conflicts and political conflicts. Example, the 9/11 attack, which joins the possibility of financial globalization with the American brand of traditional international strategy. Here's the example. War on terror begins the Al-Qaeda but does not end there. It will not end until every terrorist group of global which has been found, stopped and defeated. Heart and soul of the civilized world and the world has come together to fight a new and different war, the first and we hope the only of the 21st century, a war against all those who seek to exploit terror and a war against those governments that support or shelter them. The attack took place on American soil, but it was an attack on the other end soil of the civilized world. And the world has come together to fight a new and different war. The first and we hope the only one of the 21st century, a war against all those who seek to export terror, and a war against those 19 terrorists from Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 commercial airplanes, deliberately crashing 2 of planes in the upper floors of the north and south towers. I mean, this is the 2 towers, and they will attack using plane crash. And World Trade Center complex and turned into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. So that was the example of the war on terror. Thank you.
Challenges of globalization. And the term globalization generally refers to the opening of international borders to flows of free trade, immigration, direct investment, information, and technology. International organization such as the International Monetary Fund or IMF, the World Bank, and the World Trade Organization work to promote globalization's benefit and address its risks on the world economies, with particular focus on helping the poorer countries. Globalization has many obvious benefits to consumers and businesses in rich and poor countries alike, but globalization also has critics. For me, globalization involves opening international frontiers, like for free trade, and for the countries to benefits the product of each other countries, and focusing on other countries focusing on poor countries so that they can help the economy in that country. So we have a negative impact of globalization. The negative impact of globalization is the impact of humans. On the negative impact of globalization is the critics of globalization have listed down some of its negative impacts that include groups such as environmentalists, anti-poverty campaigners, and trade unionists. And this impact the humans and the world through culture, politics, and economics. For me, new technologies connect different parts of the world, but it can also drive society apart. It connects people from core countries like the US and Europe. For this negative impact, which negatively impacts the world's economy through unequal development, resource of exploitation of the offshore production, include environmentalists, anti-poverty activists, and trade unionists. And for the positive consequences of or impact of globalization is there is substantial evidence from countries of different sizes and different regions that as countries by globalize their citizens benefit in the form of access to a wider variety of goods and services. Like for the Negros Oriental, they have a sugar cane, and for the Davao del Norte, they have a tuna. So that is the example of variety goods and services. Like Philippines, they have a lower price for tuna, and they will trade to other countries like Japan or other countries who order tuna. So more for my positive consequences understanding is it will increase competition because it produces competing for market share, improves quality of goods and services. So as firms expand globally, offering this increased competition will be offering more options for customers. Other example of positive consequences or impact of globalization is more wealth quality throughout the world. So more wealth quality throughout the world is globalization has improved living standards for millions of people, like million of people worldwide, and enabling them to work, establish enterprises, and provide for their families. Like the United States, high standards of their product of living often leads to a false sense of poverty when unable to afford luxury. Like the people the US will release a new iPhone or the new iPhone product. People in the Philippines would like to buy that phone because of luxury mind, but they didn't even have a proper income to afford that kind of luxury item, just like that iPhone. Thank you.
In conclusion, globalization is a complex and transformative phenomenon that has reshaped the world in multiple ways. Core claims include increased interconnectedness, economic integration, cultural exchange, technological advancement, increased migration, and the challenges and inequalities that accompany this process. While globalization has brought about numerous opportunities and benefits, it has also raised important challenges that require thoughtful consideration and global cooperation to address effectively. Understanding and navigating the complexities of globalization is essential in today's interconnected world.
That's all for our group. Once again, this is Crispin Chan Nurses. Signing.